Hey everybody, Steve Browski. Welcome to Tip 78 in the series 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Examination. As a reminder, my website below has a lot of great information to help you or anybody else that you're working with, mentoring, or just wanting to share good information with. And this series is based on my latest book from Fire Engineering Books and Videos, 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam, available off their website as well as mine below. And you got a 25% off code, 20% off code in the green box on the left. All right, tip 78. We've touched on certain things in the promotional process about what the raters are looking for, but now let's really dive into it. Knowing what the raters and the fire chief are looking for in promotional candidates. I always get asked that question of what are they looking for? And I always love the they. And you always like, well, who are they? Well, those people on the other side of the panel, the people that are dressed up in their Class A uniforms, usually with the stern faces looking at you, doing the mad dog stare down at you. No, I know it. That's the old school. Most interviews today and most promotional panels are not the old school, stress the shit out of you and scare the crap out of you and make you pee in your pants processes, I think, that you may think have happened. Maybe that was in the past. I don't know. It's the kinder, gentler fire service now. I mean, and let's get down to it. Think about it. The last thing any department, any fire chief, any oral board raters, promotional process raters want to do is have to have, say, I don't know, 5, 10, 20, 30 people go through the process and then fail everybody or fail most of the people. You know, I know that's what it seems like when you're a candidate. Oh my God, they're looking to fail me. No, no, no. If we fail everybody, it's a waste of time, waste of money. And guess what? The process was probably unrealistic. That's not the goal. But if, I mean, on the flip side, if everyone passes, maybe the process is too easy. And sometimes that's the case. There should be a balance. There should be obviously some people that do really well, some people that fail it. Sorry, nothing personal. It's just law of averages. And most of the people probably just do okay. I mean, do average. But what are they looking for? It's not a secret. You know, if you really think about it, the next tip 79, I'm going to talk more about the dimensions or the behaviors or the traits that the raters are evaluating on. But now I want to just look at bigger picture things. So when we talk about bigger picture things, you know, that question, what are they looking for? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Think about it. Those people that are evaluating you. So let's say you're a firefighter or driver going for the company officer test. Well, the raters more than likely on your company officer exam are going to be people that have done the job and are usually in a position or two above. So for a company officer promotional exam, your raters are probably going to be battalion chiefs, because battalion chiefs usually supervise I'm a college graduate, supervise company officers. And you may have like a deputy chief or division chief, all depends on the size of the department they're from or what the available, I guess, pool of raters are in the area or wherever your department picks from. But anyway, they're usually a rank above. They're usually in that position where they've done the job that you want, and they also supervise either currently or in the past that job you're doing, or excuse me, the one you want. So think about it. For anyone that's actually ever been a supervisor, I know some of you may have been supervisors in your previous lives before the fire department, like I was at a drugstore chain. Think about it. As a supervisor, what are you looking for? You want obviously someone that can do the job and not just bullshit their way through an interview or just blow smoke up someone's ass. Oh yeah, I'm this great. I'm awesome. I'll be the best captain ever. Bullshit. No, they're looking for people that can do the job, do it damn well. I think they're looking for, and I say think because I am a rater and I serve as a rater and I am a supervisor, having a supervisor. Okay. We're looking for people that are low maintenance. Nobody ever likes to supervise anyone that's high maintenance. Trust me. You know, even though we all know that 5% of our folks take up 95% of our time, we have enough of those folks, don't need any more of those. We like low maintenance people, people that'll do the job, people that'll leave things better than they found it, people that'll actually be givers, not takers, people that'll be good mentors, good people that'll train others, develop others, because that's one of the big primary roles of any supervisor, not just trying to make sure your personnel are safe, but that you're also mentoring, training, training your replacements, preparing them to do your job. That's really a good supervisor, building your bench strength. We're looking for people that are trainable. We're looking for people that have passion, enthusiasm, awesome, positive attitudes. We're not looking for the glass half empty person. We're looking for the glass half full person. I mean, think about it. I've been on oral board panels for promotional process, and you see a candidate come in, yeah, I'd like to be a captain. I think I would do a good job. You know, I think I would do, and there's no positivity at all. It's the glass half full. I mean, excuse me, glass half empty. It's that negative. Oh, well, I'll probably be okay. Minimal confidence. Granted, we don't want cockiness, arrogance. Got enough of that. We want people that are actually going to be confident, competent, good command presence, not overbearing command presence, but good, solid command presence. People that can be self-starters, people that will take pride and ownership, in their firehouse. If it's a company officer position, if it's a battalion chief position, take pride and ownership in their firehouses that they're supervising and managing and leading. Or if it's, say, a deputy chief of, say, training, we're looking at someone that not just is a good training person or has a good training background, but has a love of training. You got to be able to fit those roles. I mean, yeah, it's important to, answer the questions, do what is asked of you during a promotional process. Because in most departments, yeah, you got to pass a written test, maybe pass an oral interview, maybe have a fireground scenario to manage, simulated fireground scenario, videos or pictures that you got to talk your way through. I get it. Those are part of the process. But ultimately, we're looking for people that we can put in that seat, whether it's the captain's seat, lieutenant's seat, or the battalion chief's buggy, or the training chief desk, fire marshal's desk, fire chief's desk. We're looking for that person that can do the job now. Obviously, they'll grow into the position, but those individuals that really get what being an all-risk firefighter is in the present day. It's not all about fighting fire, saving lives. I wish it was, but in most departments, fighting fire is, well, in my department, fighting fire is 1% of our job. Seriously, at my department, 20,000 calls a year we run, 5% of our calls are dispatched for fires, dispatched. Upon arrival, we find 1% of them to be actual fires. So don't get me wrong, it's important to fight fire, be able to manage an incident, manage an emergency scene, but especially as a company officer, chief officer, even more so important is managing people, leading people, supervising people. And all those things are different: managing, leading, supervising, being a good teammate, being able to be someone that builds your team, a good collaborator, not just with your crews, but also with the administration, someone that can play nicely in the sandbox with others, someone that's not going in there looking out just for their troops. Yeah, you got to look out for your crew, your troops, but you also got to realize that as a company officer or even chief officer, yeah, you got to take care of your crews, but you also got to take care of your command staff and the administration. Oh yeah, don't forget the public that is allowing us to be here, all those things there. I remember the last bullet point there, a number of years ago, we were doing a preparation session. I think I was probably a battalion chief or a new deputy chief, but anyway, we're doing an orientation session for an upcoming battalion chief's test. So we've got 7 or 8 of our captains that are looking at taking the battalion chief's test. And one of the good things I know our department has done is when there's a promotional exam, we try to have orientation sessions where we have the fire chief, the assistant chief, the deputy chiefs, the people that are involved with the process, whether it's building it, whether it's putting it together, same thing, but raiders, we have those people in the room to be sort of there as a Q&A process for the candidates, which is, I think, a good thing. We try to give them a lay of the land without giving away all the answers or the secrets, but just tell them what to expect to try to alleviate those fears. And I remember one year, one of our battalion chief candidates, a captain, raised his hand. Oh, so chief, does one of these. Are you looking for your next battalion chief? You want us to be the hammer or the nice guy when it comes to personnel issues? And I'm thinking, and our assistant fire chief, as eloquent as he is, goes, what was that? He goes, yeah, chief, do you want us to be the hammer, meaning the boom, whack-a-mole guy, or the nice guy when it comes to dealing with personnel? And it was interesting because this assistant chief, very eloquent, goes, we're looking for neither. Well, he goes, let me clarify that. He goes, you got to be a nice guy because we expect niceness. We expect nice people in all ranks. Be nice to your coworkers. Be nice to the public. That's a good human, solid solid, good human trait that we all need. But he goes, we're not necessarily looking for the hammer or the soft touch. We're looking for the person that is going to be a battalion chief that's going to do the job, and realize that everybody is different. For those of you that understand discipline, discipline is not meant to be negative. Well, it may be if you're on the receiving end of it, because you put yourself in that position to receive discipline, but discipline is there to change behavior. Well, we also know that we have a progressive discipline chain. The worst progressive discipline one can get is termination. Usually the lowest level of progressive discipline is usually a verbal or oral counseling, with everything in between being, like a written counseling, suspension, demotion, transfer, all the way up to including termination. Well, why do we have all these stair steps known as progressive discipline? To find the sweet spot. Because some people will self-correct themselves, take responsibility, hold themselves accountable before they even get to the oral reprimand stage, versus some other people won't take responsibility, will basically laugh at you when you hold them accountable, when they should be held accountable, and force you to go all the way up that chain, sometimes including firing them, because that's their attitude, that basic, hey, F you attitude. I'll do what I want to do. That's sad, but there are those individuals in every organizations that sometimes it takes a higher level of discipline to get them to change their behavior, or they may not be able to change their behavior, and thus they may need to be terminated. But anyway, the assistant chief's point was, especially as a chief officer, also as a company officer, but chief officer especially, is just trying to learn how to find that sweet spot when it comes to changing behavior and realizing that everybody is different. And that's why it's really critical to not just boom, drop the hammer on people, or just on the flip side, well, just, don't do it again, Johnny. Yeah. Like how many times you've been in a restaurant and you've heard a parent, Johnny, stop running around, because the little kid's picking his nose, flicking his boogers and running around all the tables at the restaurant. And then the kid comes back. And then of course, kid goes running out again. Kid stays for about a minute, if even that. And then next thing you know, what's the parent saying? Same thing as they said 2 minutes ago. Johnny, don't do that. If you do that again, you come back here right now. If you do that again, I'm gonna, whatever. We're gonna leave this restaurant now. And of course, Johnny comes back, good for about 2 minutes, maybe this time. And what does Johnny do? Another 2 minutes, basically giving mom the finger again, running around. And then of course, what's mom answer? Johnny, if you do that one more time, we're gonna leave, or I'm gonna take this away. And of course, Johnny, mom says that, what, 3, 4, 5 times, the same level of behavior, with never upping the game in the progressive discipline chain. That's that challenge, is that we're almost so programmed as kids, is that our parents kept on doing the same threat, but then we do the same behavior, but then they never fall through in the threat, versus they needed to maybe up the game to be able to find that level of whatever behavioral attitude adjustment we might have needed, or little Johnny might have needed, to solve the problem. So the thing is, know when to be the hammer, know when to be the nice guy, always be nice, but that's that real true test of discipline. I mean, and I'll use an example. When I was taking the battalion chief's test, they gave us a video-based scenario in the battalion chief's test. And the scenario was, you're a battalion chief, you walk into a firehouse, you see damage to the side of a fire engine, the damage to the side of the engine. And you approach the captain and you ask the captain, what happened? And the captain's like, I don't know what happened. What do you mean? Nothing's going on. Well, it was basically what it turns out to be, after you're given more information, was the engine was out in their first 2 area. The engine actually caused damage to private property, left the scene, hit and run, didn't contact the property owner, even though there's damage to the property, and also damaged the fire engine. And our department, like many departments, we have a policy that when you get in an accident, as small as it may be, you stay right there. You call your battalion chief to come down and do an investigation. You obviously make contact with the property owner. Sometimes you call law enforcement if it's involving, say, another vehicle or whatever the situation arises. Well, this captain left the scene, didn't contact battalion chief, didn't contact the property owner, hit and run, and is almost trying to cover it up. And now the company officer was lying to the battalion chief. So I remember they asked us, after giving us this scenario, so Chief Przborowski, how would you handle the scenario? And I went down the path of what I would do to solve the problem. And I'm thinking to myself, because they're asking also, what are the big issues? Well, the issues are hit and run. The issues are violating policy, for leaving the scene, not calling the battalion chief for the investigation, and obviously lying. And I remember the level of discipline that because then the next question was, what level of discipline are you going to issue for your captain who has done all these bad things? And I threw it down there. And I think at the time it was a formal written reprimand that goes in your personnel file. Well, I remember finishing up the battalion chief's test, and I was talking to some of my counterparts who had taken the test, and I would go, hey guys, how did you answer that question when you were given that scenario? And I remember one of the captains, one of my coworkers goes, he goes, to me, you got a captain that's lying. You got a captain that majorly violated policy, damage to the apparatus, poor leadership or no leadership to their crew, blah, 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 blah. That to me should be a demotion. And I'm like, holy shit, I just said a formal written reprimand. And then another captain goes, I said they should be suspended for that. And I'm like, holy shit. And then one of the other captains goes, they should be terminated because for such a serious ethical violation as lying, we can't tolerate that. And blah, 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 blah. My point is that here I was thinking that a formal letter of reprimand that's in their file was enough. And I remember thinking, oh my God, my competitors, one of them saying fire the guy, suspend, another one saying suspend the guy, another saying demote the guy. And I'm thinking, was I too easy on this guy? Well, I did extremely well in the test, but afterward I found out, what are they looking for? All those different levels of discipline that I shared, whether it's mine, formal written reprimand, or somebody else, suspension, demotion, termination, they weren't looking for an exact level of discipline. First of all, that oral board was looking for, number one, that we would handle the situation, that we would actually come to a decision of what we would do in the form of discipline. And ultimately, the most important thing they're looking for is, how do we justify it? I was told afterward that I was probably too nice of a guy for suggesting a formal written reprimand, but at least they understood my thought process. But as the suggestion I got when I was debriefing after the fact with the raider that took all the notes from all the different raiders, the county fire raider comes back and says, your justification was good, but in the future, if you do get a situation like that, I'm not saying fire the guy, but you know what? You got to up it a little bit more, because again, the discipline needs to meet the activity, or what the crime the punishment needs to fit the crime, for lack of a better term, I guess. And you also got to justify it. So I guess that's the key, is you don't just go in there saying fire the guy with no background, or just give the guy a written reprimand. Why? Because that's, you got to have good thought process, sound judgment, and again, try to find that right sweet spot that'll, think about change the behavior. That's what we're looking for. So think about this, put yourself in the shoes of a promotional process raider, and think what you would be looking for if you were that one evaluating someone for that position that you supervise on a daily basis and you've done the job for. Be the one that they want to have work for them, or supervise them, because there's a chance that you could eventually go above them promotional wise, and also be the one that's going to be low maintenance and the one that will actually do the freaking job. Simple, isn't it? That's all we ask. Do your fucking job. Life should be so easy, right? All right, everybody. Until the next episode, be safe, take care, and we will see you soon. Have a great day, everybody.